Welcome to Lawrence Live. I'm Dr. Sean Smith, Superintendent of Schools, and this morning I'm joined with two very, very special guests, our President of the School Board, Ms. Kathy Very, and our Vice President of the School Board, Mr. Jeff McKean. And so this morning I have the opportunity to interview these two important people who had an opportunity to interview me and hire me as Superintendent of Schools. They're very important people, and so we thought this morning as a part of our show that we would talk a little bit about the school board and the district as a whole. So welcome. At this time, I'd like to just to ask the board members, can you share a little bit about your role as school board members? We'll start with Ms. Very. President
Sure.
Very.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. So glad to be here on Lawrence Live for our inaugural address. First, school board, there's 5 members of the school board. We are elected by the residents of Lawrence Township to serve on our board for 4 years. And the school board primarily has 3 responsibilities. First, we hire and evaluate our superintendent. We oversee the financial aspects of our district, and we set the policy and tone for our district. Overall, we set the district with our superintendent by setting goals so that all of our teachers and administrators know where we're headed. Our superintendent is the expert, and the school board makes sure that the community voice is heard in carrying out those goals. And as a practical matter, though, the board is does a lot more than that, and I think Jeff can speak more to that.
Yeah, I think what Kathy said is absolutely right. Those are the sort of hallmarks that govern a board, and if you don't operate in that fashion, you would have lots of difficulties. But I think there's more to it than that, and I think when Kathy and I both came to the board, a few things that we were looking at. First of all, for a good school board member, I think it's someone that needs to come to the board without any particular agenda, not trying to do something specific, but willing to listen to really all points of view and try to make good, reasonable, informed decisions. There have been lots of matters over the last 4 or 5 years that I may have started out thinking one way, but if you listen to your other board members, you listen to your experts, your administrators, your teachers, your parents, you really learn a lot. So I think that's an important thing with a board member. The other aspect that Kathy and I both tried to bring, the time we came to the board, we both had kids who were very involved in the schools, and we had been very involved in schools in various volunteer capacities. Very early on, we were advised that we needed to dial that back. We shouldn't be out in the schools as much. And neither Kathy or I took that advice. We thought it was very important to remain in the schools, to be around the parents, to be around the teachers. I learned so much that way. There's so much you find out about what's going on, and you're able then to take that back and figure it into your decisions as a board member. So I think that's been a really important role. And I'd like to take this point to make a little bit of an editorial comment. I say this quite a bit, and she knows what's coming, but I have been so honored to work with Kathy Very over the last 4 or 5 years. I honestly believe there couldn't be a better school board member in the state of Indiana than Kathy. And if there is, that's a very lucky school district. Her commitment to the job, the research, the background information that she pulls together, she makes us run, and she's just I couldn't have more respect for anyone as a board member. She's a great person, she's involved in everything, and yet she is willing to take the time to do the research and really understand what it means to be a school board member. So I just had to throw that editorial comment in there.
Thanks,
Right.
Jeff.
And I second the motion. Madam President, it certainly keeps us all organized. But as board members, you guys have accomplished a lot over the years. Just talk about, for you, what are some just burning great accomplishments that as board members you feel have taken place over the last couple of years? So I'll just open up to either one of you.
I'll jump in first.
Sure.
with an easy one. I think one of our major accomplishments, and maybe I'm being a little presumptuous here or whatever, I feel like when we came to the board, there were some difficulties at that time, and I feel like we really restored some trust in the board. Kathy and I, again, were people that have been involved in the schools, people knew us, and I think we've been very fortunate over the last 4 years because we were willing to go out into the community and listen to ideas. We have not had a difficult time. We've not had a lot of difficult meetings where people didn't like what was going on and were very upset about that. So to me, The last few years, we've not had a lot of remonstrance or opposition to things, and I think that's because we've listened, we've tried to be transparent, so that restoring the trust in the board, I think, is one of the things I'm probably most proud of.
I think I am too. I think board governance is so important in a school district, and I think that we all learn as we go, and we got better every year with our board governance. And the 5 board members, we speak with one voice. None of us speak individually, or as an individual, we don't carry any weight, but as a board, we really worked hard at being professional, at being transparent, and really, as Jeff says, as listening to our constituents, and all of our constituents, students, teachers, parents, and our principals and administrators. It's just been really important. And I think being transparent and improving the transparency in our district has been critical. We have, if you're so interested, you can always listen to our board meetings online for audio. Our documents are posted, and I think that's just really important to making sure that our public believes that they can trust what's happening in our school district. So I think I agree with that, and I think, but first and foremost for me, in addition to the board governance, is student achievement. When we first came on the board, I felt that we, as a district, had been distracted by peripheral issues, and we weren't first and foremost thinking every day about student achievement. And that's what we try to do at every board meeting for the last 4 years. And Jeff has not missed a board meeting yet in 4.5 years, and we're proud of that. I don't think I have either. But at any rate, student achievement at every board meeting is important. And that is the message that we think has allowed our staff, administrators, teachers, students, we're an A district now. And we think that leading with achievement is important, and that's one of the results. When we came on the board, our 6th graders had the worst math scores in the district, or in the county. And now we have the 4th best. They increased 20% over 4 years. It's remarkable the work that our teachers have done for our students. And I think it's important that a school board is always focused on that achievement. So I would say, being an A district with, I think we have 11 elementary schools that are A's or B's, or 7 elementary schools that are A's or B's is such a huge accomplishment.
And I'd like to pick up on that just a little bit. A few years ago, we made a really difficult decision to extend our teacher work weeks. We instituted professional learning communities. We took time away from our teachers and their families to do that, but we knew it was important for our students, for achievement, and really our teachers embraced that. They wanted those learning opportunities. It's made them better professionals, and I think that's been really important. We've seen some great progress because of that. It's really helped us with achievement, and I think that's been something that I'm proud of. I'll throw out another decision that may not seem like a big deal, and it's a little bit controversial too, but personally I feel very good about, was when we switched our start times so that the elementary schools were starting their day first, and then the high school students started after that. That was difficult. It was something different. We know that it was hard on some families, and we regretted that. We heard those families, we listened to them, but we really felt for achievement, especially for our high school students who don't seem to wake up quite as early in the morning ready to go. I think based on the anecdotal evidence that I've seen, I think that's had a really positive impact. And we're now seeing other school districts doing the same thing, looking at the same issue, making the same decision that we made really 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm very proud of that.
And I also thinking about our partnerships that we formed over the last 4 years. Our administration did an excellent job. I mean, bringing in $12 million through a magnet grant, $1 million through United Way, partnering with community hospitals, which has benefited us through nurses and other programs, has just really helped our district remain fiscally sound and just built up a good sense of community partnership and a give and take with the folks in our community.
A couple things I'd like to mention that will probably lead into maybe your last question, but first of all, I think Kathy and I would both say that, and not because he's sitting here beside us, but the best decision, the greatest accomplishment we've had since we've been on the board was the hiring of Dr. Sean Smith.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about that more here in just a minute, I'm sure.
Right.
But I want to throw that because in terms of a major accomplishment, we both feel just really good about that one. The other thing I would like to say is I have always gauged groups that I've been involved with. When I volunteer for a group, my goal is to leave that organization or that group a little bit better than I found it. And if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to leave. I'm gonna stick around until the job's done. I will not walk out the door if I haven't felt like I've made progress and improved that organization. I feel really good. I feel really good that we're in a better position than we were. I feel great about the new board members that are coming on to replace us. Reggie McGregor and Dick Friege, both quality people. I know they'll do a great job. So that's where I feel good about our departure.
Right.
I do too. And I also want to say that in making decisions and what our accomplishments are, it's also important what a board doesn't do. And a few decisions that I'm really proud that the board, we maintained a 2 high school system, and that is really important, I think, to our community based on the conversations that we've had with a lot of people in our district. And we maintained the block schedule in our high schools, and I think that was important primarily to our students.
Sure.
And also maintaining our performing arts and athletic funding under pressure not to do that. And I feel very strongly that we are, particularly with Dr. Smith, supporting the great strengths of our district as a marketing tool to go forward. And I think that those were important decisions that will help our district moving forward.
Right. So certainly well said. And ladies and gentlemen, civic responsibility is extremely important. And here are 2 fine examples of individuals in the community who are giving of their time to be elected, to serve. They have to attend a lot of meetings, had a lot of responsibility, and we have to certainly thank them for the hard work that they put forward serving on the school board for this district. But as we close this out, I'd just like for each board member just to take a second and just talk about where do you see our fine district moving forward? The 15,000 students, the 2,000 employees here on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Where do you see us going in the future?
Well, I think it goes back to Jeff's comment that really the most important decision we've made over the last 4 years is our leader in hiring Dr. Sean Smith as our superintendent. In the almost 1 year now, it's not quite 1 year, but really about a year since we met Dr. Smith, the energy in our district has just been positive, and it's increasing, and people are excited to be in Lawrence Township. People are excited to work in Lawrence Township. People are excited to have our children in Lawrence Township. And we already are having more families coming back to Lawrence Township. And that is one of the goals that Jeff and I had when we joined the board, is that we wanted Lawrence Township to again be a district destination. And I think we are, and I think that that's what we really have to look forward to is Dr. Smith's leadership moving forward. I couldn't be more comfortable with leaving the board in the hands of Dr. Smith and the current board. I think we're in great shape.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would just, my comments going forward, just excitement, enthusiasm, and I feel good about things. I think Dr. Smith's focus on servant leadership is spot on, and as long I know that's a guiding light for him, and he makes all his decisions with that thought in mind. And when you do that, when you include people, when you're willing to listen to anybody, if there's someone that's a detractor, rather than putting that person down or closing yourself off from that person, you invite them into the fold and you convert them. Those are the things that make organizations great. And I feel really good about our organization. We still have some challenges. There's no question. There's work to be done. We've seen some positives. There's more things that can be done. I think our current marketing campaign and what's being done there is really important, because a lot of the good was happening, people just didn't know it. And we're getting much better about that. We've seen just tremendous progress in that regard. And when people feel good about what they're doing, when perceptions are positive, it's easier for everybody to get up and come to work or come to school. And I've got that sense. I've got that feeling. I think we've just scratched the surface of how good we can be. I think and hope, and maybe I can get them to commit to it right here, hope Dr. Smith will be a long time superintendent of our school district, and we've got many good years ahead of us with him at the helm.
Thank both of you,
you.
and thank the public out there for taking time to watch this segment of Lawrence Live. Come back to us next time. We're going to come back with 2 outstanding educators recognized here in Lawrence Township, so be my guest next time on Lawrence Live. Thank you.